Hello, my name is Annie. Come study with me. We continue with part 2 of our study on Islam versus Christianity. In this video, we will examine what do the names Islam, Judaism and Christianity actually mean. Before we ask whether Islam or Christianity is true, I want to begin with a much simpler question. What do these names actually mean? We commonly speak about 3 major monotheistic religions: Judaism, Christianity, Islam. But have you ever stopped to ask where these names came from? Are these actually the names used in their scriptures? Does the Bible use the word Christianity? Does the Quran use the word Islam? Does the Bible use the word Judaism? And what about words such as Christianism and Islamism? Are they religions too? If we are going to compare Islam and Christianity by starting with the texts rather than later tradition, then this seems like an appropriate place to begin. Let's start with the words. Islam. The word Islam comes directly from Arabic. Islam. It is connected with the Arabic root. Slem, mem grammatically, Islam is a form, 4-verbal noun associated with the verb aslama, carrying the idea of submitting or surrendering. Form 4 is simply the name grammarians give to one of the common patterns Arabic uses to form words from a root. But what is particularly important for our investigation is this. Islam is actually a word found in the Quran. For example, Quran 3:19 contains in al-Din and Allah al-Islam, commonly translated. Indeed, the religion in the sight of Allah is Islam. The important word for us is Ankol Islam, so we do not have to go to a later religious council, theologian, historian, or legal system to find the term. It is in the Quranic text itself. That does not establish whether Islam is true. It simply establishes something about the terminology. The Quran itself uses the word Islam, and that is the kind of distinction we are going to make throughout this series. What about Judaism? Now, something interesting happens when we turn to the New Testament. The English word Judaism corresponds to the Greek judaismos, and unlike the word Christianity, judaismos actually occurs in the New Testament. Paul uses it in Galatians 1 verses 13 to 14 when describing his former life. So, although Judaism is an English translation, there is an underlying Greek noun in the New Testament referring to the Jewish way or religious system. This is important because it gives us something to compare. We have Islam, found in the Quran, Judaism, judaismos, found in the New Testament. Now let us look at Christianity. Does the Bible use the word Christianity? Search the New Testament for the word Christianity, and something surprising happens. You will not find it. The New Testament does not use an abstract Greek noun corresponding to our normal English word Christianity, but it does use another word, Christian. The Greek word is Christianos, and it occurs only 3 times in the New Testament. The first is Acts 11 verse 26. The text tells us that the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch. Notice the wording carefully. It does not say they established Christianity in Antioch. It says that the disciples were called Christians there. And notice what Luke calls them immediately before giving us the new designation, disciples. The second occurrence is Acts 26 verse 28, where Agrippa uses the term Christian while speaking to Paul. The third is 1 Peter 4 verse 16, where the author speaks about someone suffering as a Christian. So we have Christian, yes, but Christianity, no. That raises an obvious historical question. If the New Testament does not call the religion Christianity, where did the word come from? What about Christianism? This brings us to another word that most English speakers rarely hear today. Christianism is a real word. Historically, it has been used for the religious system, beliefs, or practices of Christians, in other words, broadly, the Christian religion. Its linguistic history ultimately takes us back to Greek, Christianismos. And here we need to make a very important distinction. Christianismos is Greek, but it is not a New Testament word. It appears in early Christian writings after the New Testament period. So we begin to see a historical development. Christos, Christ, the Anointed One, then Christianos, Christian, and subsequently Christianismos, the Christian way, or Christian religion, with later English terminology including Christianism and Christianity. Today, Christianity has become the ordinary English name of the religion. Christianism survives as a word, but it is uncommon and can also carry specialized modern meanings. So, Christianism should not be presented as a completely different ancient religion competing with Christianity. Historically, it could simply designate the Christian religious system. Now we encounter another important question. Does ism mean religion? We have Judaism and Christianism and Islamism. All three contain the English-looking ending, ism. Does that mean all three are religions? No. The suffix ism can be used for a system, doctrine, movement, practice, ideology, or body of thought. Consider familiar words such as capitalism, socialism, nationalism, communism, idealism, and Judaism. The ending itself does not tell us that something is a religion. We have to investigate the history and usage of the individual word, and that becomes particularly important with Islamism. Islam is not the same word as Islamism. In contemporary English, Islam and Islamism should not simply be treated as synonyms. Islam is the name of the religion. Islamism is generally used today for political or ideological movements that seek to organize government or society according to particular understandings of Islamic principles. Therefore, Islam does not equal Islamism. A Muslim is not necessarily an Islamist simply because he or she follows Islam. And Islamism should not be substituted for Islam as though they were merely two different names for the same religion. That distinction is important if our objective, both Christianity and Islam accurately. And Christianity is not simply Christianism. Something similar, but historically more complicated, happens with Christianism. Historically, Christianism could mean the Christian religion. Today, however, Christianity is overwhelmingly the normal English name of the religion, and Christianism can sometimes be used in more specialized contexts, including discussions of Christianity functioning as a political or ideological program. Therefore, we should not look at the words Christianism and Islamism and assume that because they look alike, they must have identical histories or meanings. They do not. So what have we actually established? Let's be very precise. We have not proved that Judaism is true. We have not proved that Christianity is true. And we have not proved that Islam is true. That isn't what this investigation was intended to establish. We have established something much more basic. The name Islam has a direct counterpart, Islam, within the Quranic text itself. The word translated Judaism, Greek Judaismos, occurs in the New Testament. The word Christian, Greek Christianos, occurs in the New Testament. But the word Christianity, as the abstract name by which we commonly identify the religion today, does not occur in the New Testament. And the related Greek abstract noun, Christianismos, belongs to the early post-New Testament period rather than to the New Testament itself. That raises a much more interesting question. What did the followers of Jesus actually call themselves? If the New Testament does not call their religion Christianity, what terminology does it use? The book of Acts tells us that the disciples were called Christians in Antioch, but throughout the New Testament we encounter other descriptions: disciples, believers, brothers and sisters, saints. And one particularly interesting expression, the way. So perhaps our question should not initially be, what did Christianity teach? Perhaps our first historical question should be, what did Jesus and his earliest followers actually teach? And what does the earliest text call their movement? There is a difference between those questions, and throughout this series, that difference will matter. The same standard must apply to Islam. But if we are going to do that with Christianity, fairness demands that we do exactly the same with Islam. We cannot strip Christianity back to the New Testament text while allowing centuries of later Islamic theology to determine automatically what the Quran means. Nor can we strip Islam back to the Quran while allowing centuries of later Christian theology to determine automatically what the Bible means. The same standard must apply to both. So when we examine Christianity, we will ask, what does the biblical text explicitly say? And when we examine Islam, we will ask, what does the Quranic text explicitly say? Then we will distinguish that from what later Christians and Muslims concluded about those texts. Why begin here? Because names carry assumptions. When someone says, Christianity teaches, we need to ask, where? Does the New Testament explicitly say it? Is it an inference from several passages? Is it a doctrine formulated centuries later? Or is it a modern interpretation? And when someone says, Islam teaches, we should ask exactly the same questions. Where? Does the Quran explicitly say it? Is that interpretation derived from hadith, from tafsir, from later jurisprudence, or from a particular theological school? None of those sources should simply be dismissed, but neither should they automatically be confused with the foundational text itself. That is the distinction this series is going to maintain. So, we began with three familiar names: Judaism, Christianity, Islam. And already we have discovered that their linguistic and textual histories are not identical. That leads us directly to the next question. Before comparing the prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, the crucifixion, the Bible, the Quran, salvation or judgment, perhaps we need to establish something even more fundamental. Who is the God each text claims to reveal? Do the Bible and the Quran describe God in the same way? What does the Bible actually say about the nature of God? What does the Quran actually say? And when Christians say Trinity, is that word found in the Bible? Or is it another later term used to describe what Christians believe the biblical text teaches? That is where we will go next. Until then, start with the text. Examine the words, consider the context, separate what is written from what was later interpreted, and then decide for yourself. Thank you for watching this video in our series on Islam versus Christianity. As you continue with the study, please share your thoughts in the comments below, especially if you notice an important detail, a translation issue, or a historical source that could add genuine value to the discussion. Respectful correction and well-supported information are welcome. Every thoughtful contribution can help shed more light on the texts and bring us closer to a clearer understanding. If you find this approach valuable, please like the video and share it with others who may want to examine these questions carefully and fairly.